welcome to my final presentation of Creative Process, where I picked the task to redesign a UI and I chose the game Vampyr. So my goal in this was to come up with a design that showcases themes and settings from within the game, something that maximizes immersion, utilizes all available space, and of course something that helps players navigate with the gameplay. The first thing that I had a look at was the notes section of the collectibles section of the menu, and on the upper right corner you can see what the original looked like, and then I kind of had a look at a bit of the inspirations to see where I wanted to head with it. I found this picture of an old folder that I thought would fit what I was looking for quite well, because the main character is a researcher, so it would make sense for him to have his own versions of notes using a typewriter. So I kind of started looking into different fonts that resemble typewriters and just get a general feel of where I wanted to head with it. Without much further ado, so this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looked like afterwards. So as you can see, I went with the design that I picked out earlier, so a folder and just a typewritten personal notes along with the original picture of what the notes are actually supposed to look like, handwritten. I kept a lot of parts from the original UI, the ones that made sense, and I exchanged all the logos with something that was actually written down. The logos looked nice, but it just hard to make out what they were actually supposed to mean. Then I checked if the design would translate well into other sections of the menu. The first thing that I looked at was the inventory. Here's a before and here's an after picture. And the second part that I had a look at was what the map would look like within the folder. So once again, here is the before, a bit of a blurry picture, and this is what it looked like afterwards. And I used kind of something that looked like an old-timey post-it note as the legend for the map. Now I had a look at the head-up display, and I wanted to go with something that completely showcased what the game was about. So I went into a couple different themes. For one, I wanted to showcase the industrialization by utilizing gears in a way that made sense within the actual display. Then I used the skill icons. I sorted them in a way that they looked like stained glass windows from a church, because a lot of the game focuses on religious material. And the health bars, I went with a couple different designs, but spoiler alert for the finished version, I decided on using syringes, which makes a lot of sense within the game's plot, because the main character is a doctor, and large parts of the game revolve around healing people. So this is the finished version with the enemy health bar on the right side, the syringes displaying the different bars of the main characters, and 3 different gears showing the equipment and consumable items, as well as the skills. The skills are icons that I made myself, and I'm going to go into how exactly I did that now. So I looked at what the old icons looked like, which skills they were meant to represent, and just noted down what exactly the skills actually did and how I could best represent them. So the first line are the original versions of my skills, of the skill icons that I went with. I tested them out in the game, and they were not as legible as I wanted them to be, and they weren't as cohesive design-wise, so I went over them again and did a second version that just made them all fit together a bit more and stand out more with the game's background. So this is the completed icon wheel, and the way that I'm using the stained glass window is that a skill would get a transparent glass after it is used, and as it recharges, the glass window slowly fills up with colors, just so the player can immediately see whether he can use a skill or not. And this is what it would look like in the final game. And